of like the scary.
Have you got any others?
I've got a model lined up to come in sometime soon, but I've met her a few times, so I'm not too worried about that one. I did message like when I messaged you guys, I wanted you to come in, and I was told I wanted to get a few more bands as well. And I looked around, and they were just scary people to talk to. I managed to get some information off Amino J, who were performing with you guys.
Yeah.
But other than that, people just rude and they ignore your messages.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see what we can get like Prop. He does all like the events at Roadhouse. Van Morgan, G.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'll have a word. He's a good one to do. Yeah.
Sound like.
Yeah, he's usually pretty. He's
Is that okay?
in that band.
Is that better?
Yeah, he's the cool. Yeah, I'll message him and say.
That would be very good. You guys set up?
Okay, we're ready. You can go in. All right, quiet, guys. You can go in.
Alright guys, so you started as a band in 2011.
Yeah.
How do you think you've developed as a group since then?
Quite a lot, I guess. I mean, back in 2011, we started off before we kind of had any kind of stage persona or stage image, and it was just kind of us. Just playing as a group of friends, and keeping things like nice and casual and everything. And then it was probably towards the tail end of 2011 we started. The other guitarist, Scott, big ginger beard and everything, he on stage at some point shouted the word spiffing, and people shouted it back. And from that moment we were like, right, we need something, we need a hook, we need something to keep us going, we need something for people to remember us by, and that kind of stuck. And then we did the photo shoot actually down the road.
Yeah, just down the road,
where we did we had a photo shoot. We were all dressed like normally and things, and we were like, okay, see if we can make maybe the image a bit more striking than what it was. And so we put on it was military back then,
very old military sort of looking uniforms.
Yeah, and then halfway through the photo shoot, we were like, oh, should we try? It's obviously same as kind of like what other kind of extreme metal bands, I guess more sort of Eastern Europe, where they wear the war paint and things. We were like, we give it a go, see what happens. And I remember putting this stuff on, look in the mirror, completely ruined my face. In fact, I think it was more racist than dramatic.
Yeah.
And it was like, this isn't working. I threw a little bit of a hissy fit, I'll be honest. Kind of threw my toys out the cot. And then it was actually one of our friends, Sophie, who did my face paint. Like, there you go, and that's fine, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then on, even from that photo shoot, we kind of had it brought something out of us. We weren't scared anymore of showing our face, because it wasn't our face, it was the character's face, and it really made a massive difference. And so we brought that onto the stage, and I think that's in terms of development, it was that which pushed us to kind of be who we are on stage now.
Well, how do you think your look was sort of taken at first?
There's a lot of people, I think, probably thought, oh, it's Black Veil Brides.
Yeah, we got a lot of that. It didn't help with the fact that we were wearing military jackets. Kind of soon after, well, not too soon, I didn't think it was soon, but apparently too soon after the whole Michael Romance Black Parade thing. So that coupled with Black Veil Brides, we were not on a winning streak at all. But then, so we thought, no, we'll persevere, we'll go ahead, we'll do this, because at the end of the day, it's making us more confident on stage. So, I think that was the compromise. It's like, if people don't like it, that's fine, but we're a lot more confident on stage, and it's making us do what we want to do. So we kept with it, and I think over time, people, I think we've won people over, and I think they don't see us like Black Veil Brides anymore.
Well, how do you think your fan base has grown?
It has kind of grown massively, which is, it's not certain. there's a certain element of that has been stuck with us since we sort of really started the persona and everything.
Shout out to the Stratford people.
Massively.
They really, really, really helped us and pushed us.
There's been all sort of specific people in specific sort of towns and places that you play at sort of latch onto you, and through social media and social networking and stuff, they're like, have you seen these? These guys are amazing. And then they get friendly with you, and it's a great way of sort of expanding your sort of fan base, because they tell someone and then tell someone. Before you know it, you're then getting a bigger fan base, which is making life so much easier when you've got to travel 50 odd miles to do a gig where you're worrying only 10 people's going to turn up, when in fact they've heard about us from a friend of theirs from another town. So it has sort of worked that way massively.
Yeah, I'm with you, like, massively on that. Yeah, it's always about, there's always key people who are the people who are responsible for breaking the band into new towns. Like, for example, we randomly applied for this Battle of the Bands competition before we did any of like Bloodstock or Metals and Masters or anything. This was in Northampton. It was part of, the only reason we sort of applied for it initially is because it was Black Star Amplification sponsored, so we were like, let's go ahead. We win a free amp, and my gear at that time wasn't going particularly well. So it was like, yeah, free equipment, I'll take that. So we thought we'd go and apply and things, and one of the band's fans and one of our friends, Phil, who got all his friends and stuff, who some of them weren't even into sort of like the extreme kind of music we were playing and things, but because he was so good at sort of hyping us up and making everything, like, he was the person who made that show amazing for us. And then next time we went back to Northampton, those same people were there, and that's kind of how our fan base has kind of grown. It's always key people within social circles.
Well, like I said to you, I've been to one of your gigs at the O2. What was your favourite gig or thing that you've ever performed at?
Well, I know what it is for me.
Yeah, you go.
For me, it was definitely the Metal to the Masses final.
Oh, yeah. I was expecting to say something else.
No, it's definitely that show at the Roadhouse. It was in 2013. It was just, we put so much hard work and effort into it, even before we actually got there, and for all the different rounds that we'd done, and it'd been such hard work, and then to be up against some of the, like, you know, the most amazing bands from around the area as well, and we were all so uber nervous, and we ended up playing possibly one of the best gigs we've ever done, ever, and it was just, we didn't care whether we'd won it or not at the end of it. It was just such a good feeling of how we played.
All I remember from that show is that smoke machine. We had a smoke machine and we turned it on and it's fine, and all you had to do was press a button to turn it off. So it was on, the room was getting really full, and it was like, okay, this is, okay, let's try and turn this off. It's like there, and we're all pressing this button, and like nothing's turning off and things, and then we get through into the next part of the song, and literally this thing is still going. I'm starting to choke on it. There's a video which you can see on YouTube, and literally where all the fans on the stage were just blowing this smoke straight over me. Yeah, I looked like I was in like a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, and it was terrible, and that's all I remember from like all the visual images I remember from that show, and literally me panicking about this smoke machine not turning off, and to the point where it was just like we had to just unplug it and just throw it across the room. Yeah, it's a good show. I think my one, I was going to say that, but now you've said that, obviously it's got to be Bloodstock.
Yeah.
Being the second band on stage on the Sophie Lancaster stage at Bloodstock Festival this year, for our second time to play at the festival in a row, and to be able to do that, just a massive honour, and that came from doing the Metals and Masses gigs.
Yeah.
Well, if you could sort of go back to where it all began, what advice would you give yourself about trying to break into industry?
Don't worry about breaking into the industry as such. Yeah. Make sure it's something that you want to do. Make sure that you've got the support there as well. I mean, I think it's a massive thing, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time and dedication to be able to do this and do it as if you want to make a living off it. I think you have to be clear with yourself on why it is that you want to do it. Do you want to do it just for a hobby? Do you want to do it to write music, or do you want to do it to go out and perform and play in front of people? They're three completely different things, which a lot of people you kind of struggle with understanding why. You always hear people say, "Oh, why am I doing this?" Because it's hard. You travel a long way with lots of expensive gear and a really cheap car which you can't afford to run itself, and I think it's just massively important to have that kind of support network. And for us, it's the other people in the bands and kind of like the wives and girlfriends of the band. We're quite lucky in having that like kind of family community going on, whereas other people in bands who treat it more as they're just musicians. So they treat being in the band as they're a session musician for that band, and that's fine and it's absolutely great and it does work for them. But I think the first thing is for me at least, when I started music, I wasn't quite sure why I wanted to do it, so I was always in this kind of not sure what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and things. And I think the other thing, if I could go back and tell myself something, is to practice. You have to practice every day religiously to be able to get to the level, otherwise you'll get to the age where I am. I'm 27 in a couple of weeks, and I am nowhere near to the ability on my instrument as what I wanted to be when I was like 14, 15. And so yeah, it's practice and know why you're doing it, and try and think of an end goal, even if it's an absolute pipe dream. Yeah, for me.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely would be just more about not worrying about getting to a label status. It'd actually be just concentrating on doing what we want to do, because it's all, I mean, in all intents and purposes, it's all falling apart with regards to music industry and labels and stuff. And you find more and more bands just doing it themselves now. They're cutting out those guys because it's becoming so difficult.
Self-signed.
Yeah, I think I would say to ourselves, don't worry about having a label. It probably would have saved us a substantial amount of money.
Substantial amount of money.
Yeah, but that's probably what I'd say.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Well, you said about like that's what you do then. Well, where do you see yourself in the years to come? Because I know you've been given a few awards recently.
Yeah, well, we won that Battle of Bands Black Star thing. Thank you very much for my new anthem stuff. Yeah. Then we did Metal to the Masses, and yeah, we won the Birmingham Heat. Like, that was a massive, massive honour for the home of heavy metal, and to win a competition for it. It was pretty cool. And then yeah, we got nominated for the Pure Rock Awards. That was last year, and for such an extreme heavy metal band who wears face paint, not makeup, who wears face paint and things, and plays some quite heavy, dark kind of music, to be nominated along with like indie bands and rock bands and things as best new band of the year is pretty cool. What was the rest of the question? My bad.
Where do you see yourself in a few years' time?
I'd like to be doing this as a career, not for me. It's not a case of I want to be the famous person, or I want to be the guy that's in the band that's making it really big. I would like to be able to do what I love, which is this.
You'd still like to be able to stand up by yourself, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah,
5 years.
But I'd love to be able to do this as a career, even if I'm only earning the same as what I'm earning now in a regular job, but doing this, I'd be absolutely happy as Larry.
That's one of the things which it's only just coming out into kind of public eye, but this has been something which has been going on for donkey's years. It's bands who you idolised when you were a child, and when you were a teenager, and you saw growing up, you'd go to their shows and everything. All those people in those bands, they all have like full-time jobs, and they all work at your local. Like I worked for 4 years at a motorway service station before we went and played Bloodstock and things, and we've worked as like debt collectors, in retail and store work and things, whilst we're going out playing in front of like Bloodstock, like 5,000 people. We'll go there. The very next day we're there sort of stacking shelves or calling people on the phone and things, and you'll be amazed at the amount of massive bands out there who still have their day jobs.
It's got to be difficult, really, to sort of go between the two.
That's why I think I'll go back to the support, having that support network and having those people around you. That's why I think it's so important to have those people there, because if you're, say, for example, if you're going off on tour and things, you know, and you've still got rent to pay and you've got a family to look after, you're going to need a very supportive, you know, partner to you know, deal with it, because it's a lot of stress. But so in 5 years is to alleviate that stress and be able, like I say, to be able to make some kind of career. I mean, we're not talking like, you know, earning like, you know, we want to be Metallica. No one wants to be Metallica. But you know, we don't want to. We're not talking about against that level. It's being able to make a any kind of living from it, but knowing that you can spend 7 days of the week to be able to do what you love, rather than just the 2 and, you know, a couple of hours in the evening. That's far more important than having the money. So in terms of career, it's not in terms of getting like legendary and massive. It's being able to make enough money to eat, live, and
make music.
Yeah.
Alright, and my final question for you is that there's usually 5 members in your band, right?
Yeah.
If you could use one word to describe each of them, what would you use?
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll say a word each, and then we have to guess on which member we think that will be.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Ginger.
Yeah.
That was Ginger. Sorry, I'll speak weird. Go on. Who do you think that might be?
Well, that's Mark.
Yeah, there we go. Mark had drummer. So there you go. There's one Ginger. Go on.
Crimson Chin.
That would be Mr. Allen, Scott Allen. Yeah. So that's kind of 2 words. We'll hyphenate it. So yeah, Crimson Chin with his big thing. And obviously, well, so it's either going to be you or Mr. Knight. Flowery is my.
And
that is
Mr. Knight.
Yeah, Mr. Knight. But the only reason I say flowery is not as in baking flour, as in flowers. He likes his amenities.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, we will go and play a show and have everything on, and, you know, go back to someone's house and sleep on the floor and things. It doesn't bother us, but he'll be there with, you know, his hotel and things. He likes his luxuries. And then now we can think one for each other.
Yeah. Manic.
All right with that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Oh, I've got to be nice now. Aging?
Yeah.
No, I'll take that back. Experienced. Yeah, we'll go with that. Aging.
Alright guys, so thanks for letting me interview you, and that's it. Right.
Awesome.
Guys, thanks for that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, wicked. Good questions in there. I was wanting to say as well, the way that you messaged us, props to you, because we get a lot of this and we ignore a lot of them. But the way that you messaged caught us. So yeah, keep doing that.
Doing something right.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Okay, do you want to come with me? I'm going to see how some of that's turned out.
Yeah.